my whole focus for today is to get you to think about you and get you to focus on learning about who you are and what's important to you. And then everything else will literally fall into place. For KPA, our whole mission is just to bring women of color and Cape Verdean women together and give them spaces where they can help themselves achieve whatever goals they have. We all have different goals and we should have different definitions of success. Don't let anybody tell you what you need to get done. Think about what you want to achieve. And we just want to make sure that people have that space where they can connect and they can come together and help one another. And our whole focus is making sure that we connect. I'm sure you've heard of this, but your net worth is your net worth, right? It's the people who you know that matters. So we focus on ensuring that you meet the good people who will help you, people who will mentor you, people who will give you a good job, people who will give you feedback, people like Chrissy who will cheer you up in snowy days and cloudy days, people Dr. J who will give you the support. So take advantage of the people that you're meeting now and start thinking about building those connections. And then we focus on improving, learning. You learn every day, and that's truly an amazing skill set to have. And I've seen some of the programs that you have here, and they're designed so well to give you those opportunities to learn. And as long as you're learning, you're doing great. There's no failure in learning. And then finally, we have to give back to our community. Us being better means our whole community is better. And as much as we help one another, we're also going to be able to move up. So our last principle is all about giving back. My message for today, as I've mentioned, is to focus on learning about who you are and what's important to you. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of people will tell you, I've succeeded and I've done great things, and, I went to school and I got a really good job. I didn't go to college, but I got a really good job. I got married, I started a family, and it's all about the accomplishments. And we look at social media, everything looks perfect. All these people are doing these incredible things. But the reality of it is success does not look like a simple line. There's a lot of swerving. And that swerving is normal. We lose people that we care about, we lose jobs, we lose opportunities, we do things that we wish we had done differently. All of those swerves are good things as long as we're learning through those experiences and we take advantage of those experiences to learn. So even though people will probably talk about their success like a straight line, it really looks like a lot like this. So for me, even getting to where I'm at now, I've had to deal with depression, with anxiety. I've had to deal with sleepless night, working super hard, really good days, not so really great days. It has not been a straight path, and that's okay because I'm learning through all of that. And then you add the element of race and gender to all of this, and you have people starting at very different points in their journey to success. And it's important that we realize that we're not all starting at the same point, and we all have different things that are happening in our lives that's going to dictate how we go about things. So because of that, it's really hard to have people give you an advice and think that that's going to work exactly the same way for you. I'm sure you hear people tell you, do this, you can't do that, don't do that, you have to do this now, you have to do this later. And all of these advices are really great things, except that you have to make sure that they work for you. Because it may work for me, I may sit here and this is exactly why I didn't want to spend these 20 minutes, 15 minutes with you, giving you the advices of things that worked for me, but rather in helping you start to think about you and how you can learn. Because once you know who you are and what you want to get done, everything else will fall into place and you'll be able to pick the best advices that work for you. So, hard questions. I'm sure even in middle school, you've been asked, what do you want to do when you grow up, right? And it's I still don't know that, by the way. I'm still figuring it all out. And I'm sure if any adult is really honest, they'll tell you that they're still figuring it all out. So somehow we still ask these questions though, who are you? What do you want to get done? What do you want? What do you want to be when you grow up? And these are hard questions because you feel like you need to have it all figured out and you need to give the perfect answer. I need to know exactly what I want to do, and I need to tell the person who's asking me this question now, and it needs to be the best answer possible. And that's a lot of pressure on us because the reality of it is we're still figuring it out and things are going to change. When I was in middle school, I actually wanted to be a vet. And then I went to a vet and saw blood and completely freaked out and fainted, and then realized that was not right for me, right? And then I wanted to be in a lab doing chemistry, and I thought that was going to be the coolest thing in the world. I went to a lab, and it was all walls, no windows, and I'm claustrophobic, and that didn't work out. So, do I have it figured out now? No, I don't. But as long as I feel that at the present moment, I am confident in who I am and every opportunity I take on aligns with what's important to me, then I know that I'm on the right path. What I have here is a toolkit to help you start to think about who you are and what's important to you. This is a never-ending process. You're going to be asking yourself these questions, and you should be asking yourself these questions forever. But it's a starting point for you to start to think about this. So connect with the now is the first step. So right now, what gets you excited? What gets you energized? What makes you happy? What do you enjoy? What do you like? Think about all of those things that currently in the present moment gets you happy and gets you excited and motivated. What are those things? Write them down. And then start to think about this perfect world. In the ideal world, what would that look like for you? What would your maybe day-to-day look like? What time would you wake up? What time would you go to sleep? What would you be doing at school? What would you be learning about? Who would the people that you would be talking to look like? What's really important to you? Start to think about that ideal world. And then say, well, now that I kind of know what makes me happy now, and I know what I want my ideal world to be, what actual goals do I want to get done? What is it that I want to get accomplished? But most importantly, how will you know that you've actually accomplished those things, right? So if I know that one of my goals was to be able to teach at Suffolk University, and that was going to make me really happy, and then I started to teach, I need to make sure that that's actually making me happy, right? That that's actually serving me a great purpose. So it's important for you to set your goals, but also to make sure when you get to those goals, you're able to reflect and make sure that those are still working for you. And then finally, make a plan for how you're going to get these things done and when are you going to get them done, right? So for you, if the next step is to make sure that you connect with one person on this call today. You want to make sure that you connect with one person so you can have a conversation with them about anything. You can reach out to me and talk to me about anything. When do you want to reach out to me? Set that goal with the timeline so that you can keep yourself accountable. And then find the right people who will keep you accountable. You need mentors. And Chrissy and I were talking earlier, it really takes a whole village, right? You need people who are going to be in your corner, people who are going to support you, sponsor you, who are going to cheer you up, who are going to tell you when you're not doing the right thing. You need that support system. And that could be your family, your friends, it could be people that you meet in school, it could be people like Chrissy and Dr. J and Mitchell, it could be people like me. You want to have the right support system, and that doesn't always have to be just the people that you know now. You can create that support system for you by meeting new people who you vibe with, who you really feel that you have a connection with. And those people are going to keep you accountable. So I'm going to leave you with these questions, and Chrissy has the slides, so she'll be able to share with you. And I really want you to start thinking about what's important to you, what do you enjoy, what do you want to get done, and how you're going to do that. Because the more you focus on who you are, what's important to you, I promise everything else will fall into place. And I wanted to make sure that I tell you to non-negotiate what's important to you. If you find something that's really important to you and somebody tells you you need to do something that goes against that value for you, the answer needs to be no. It's important that you don't negotiate what's important to you. For me, for instances, helping women of color is really important to me. Every room that I'm in, I'm thinking about women of color. I'm thinking about my Cape Verdean community. I am thinking about my students. So anything that would not serve that value for me is not a good opportunity for me, and I need to say no. Because even though I can do that thing, I can be in that room, it's going to end up breaking me and breaking me down, which then I'm not going to be able to help anybody else or help get anything else done, right? So it's important that I know who I really am and what's important to me, and then I don't negotiate that with anybody, and I mean anybody. That even means my mom, right? Mom, no, I'm not going to do that because that doesn't serve me a great value. And bringing in a little bit science here, so hang in there with me. I promise it will make sense. So we have Maslow hierarchy of needs. This basically tells us what's important for us as human beings. And at the bottom of our basic needs, we obviously have food, water, we have to feel safe, we have to be able to have food, we have to have security, right? But then you see right here at the psychological needs, so these are the needs that our brain and we're conditioned to find very important, is actually this need of belonging. And because of that need of belonging, a lot of times we try to fit ourselves in to certain boxes so that we can feel like we belong, so that we can feel like people are accepting us. And what I want to tell you is that just like we have the psychological need and our brain is wired to feel like we need to belong, our brain is also wired to learn. We can actually learn anything we want to learn. And again, I know this is science, but hang in there. Once we understand that we can actually train our brain to recognize good belonging moments versus not so good belonging moments, we can avoid situations where we're not treated with respect, situations where we're not treating others with respect, and bullying has happened. So just like you can learn to belong and feel the need to be accepted, you can also learn when to tell that that's a good situation or not so good situation. And the earlier you start to have the space of mind, then the earlier you're going to be able to make that distinction, which I think is awesome for your generation because you're already starting to talk about these things. And then finally, my last message for all of you is that if you focus on learning about who you are and what's important to you, the harder the bad people are going to have, the harder time they're going to have into pressuring you to do something that you don't think it's important, that you don't find valuable, that you think it's bad. And it's also going to be harder for you to be the bully and try to pressure people into certain situations because you understand how hard it was for you to work to become really confident in who you are. So you're not also going to pressure anybody. And like I said, for my experience when I was in middle school, thinking about moments that I was bullied or that I bullied someone, it was all about trying to either be the cool person or fit in. And that happened because I didn't know who I was and what was important to me. But now, even if somebody says something that's hurtful to me, I don't take it as strongly because I know exactly who I am and what's important to me. And I also very conscious about not hurting other people based on their choices that they make because I understand that that's a lot of work for you to become exactly who you want to be.